Good day. Today we'll be talking about the verbal reasoning, and just like I promised the last class that we'll be talking about verbal reasoning today. So let's quickly go into it. Now the goal of this section is this: learn the three type of GRE verbal reasoning questions, get tips for answering each question type, study examples of GRE verbal reasoning questions. That's the goals of this section now. Let me just start by telling you different type of questions that you can encounter or that you will encounter in this section. The first one is the reading comprehension question, and the second one is a text comprehension question, and the third one is sentence equivalence. Now let me explain what I mean by this type of question. You can read through all this to have more information, but let me just go straight to the okay. Yeah, I think I have this. These are tips or guidelines on how to go about answering those questions. But let me just show you. Yeah, here's an example of a reading comprehension question. Now, a passage you'll be given a passage, just read through it. Then you are supposed to read and understand it very very well. Make inferences, make sure you understand what they're talking about in the passage. Although you might not be familiar with the passage, true, but then the information that is given to you in the passage, you will text it. So your goal here is just to read through the passage, understand what the passage is saying, try to understand what the author is saying, understand what the subject is about. What are they talking about? Ask yourself when you are reading, what are they talking about in this passage? So you ask question like that when you are reading. So by the time you get what they are talking about in the passage, just read the passage holistically, get the message, what they are trying to pass across to you. So from there, you'll be able to answer your questions. Now, look at this now. Select one answer choice. Now, this is a passage. I don't want to be reading it, but by the time you read it, you understand what they are talking about here. You understand what they're talking about here. Now, here's a passage. This is a question that follows the passage. The first question is this: the passage addresses which of the following issue related to glass use of popular elements in classical composition? Yes, so and these are the options. Here and here. Now, if you read the passage very very well, I mean, you read the passage very very well, you'll be able to get your answer. You pick out your answer out of these options. So it's very important you understand it. But now let me warn you again. There's some option here that will distract you. That will look like the correct answer. So what you will first do is this: first try and knock out or delete those options that you feel like is not correct at all. So you'll be left, most likely you'll be left with two options where two of them will seem correct. One of them is the correct answer, where one will be the correct answer, while the other one will be like the distracting option. So it's your job to figure it out. Just try and read through it and figure that out. That's that I want to say about that. Then the second one to say, consider each of the three choices separately and select all that applies. Now let me clarify this one. Even in the reading comprehension, this says select one answer choice. That means here there's only one answer choice that is correct, as in that applies to this question. There's only one that is correct. Now look at this one. When they say consider each of the three choices separately and select all that applies. That means in these options, there are more than one answer that is correct. So the three can be correct, two can be correct. But what I'm saying is just that just read through it. There can be more than one option in a passage that is correct. But just look through before you start answering the question. There will be some guidelines as per how to answer it. For example, here they wrote consider each of the three choices separately and select all. Here's a pointer, all that apply. That means there is more than one option that is correct here. Why this one is just one option that is correct. So look out for this. It's very, very important. And let me warn you again. If you select, if okay, for example, if you you are trying to answer, you try to answer this question and you select the right answer, you will get your full mark. Then if you miss it, it will be wrong. Now, the second question, look at when they say consider each of the three choices separately and select all that applies. Now, if for example, let's just say if option A and option C is the correct answer, and you only choose option A, you didn't take option C, you miss it. There's nothing like okay, you got half of it. No, no, no. By the time you miss it, you miss one of the you miss the whole mark. It's going to be but if you have your full if you get if the option is A and C and you choose A and C, that means you have your full mark. But if the answer is A and C and you just choose A alone and B or you chose that means you wrong you are miss yeah, that means you will miss it. Then if you chose C and B you miss it too. Or if you chose A and C, which is the two correct, and then you have your full mark. So there's no partial mark. There's no partial mark. So you have to get the two correctly. So that will give you full mark. So you should note all this because by the time you are doing question and you get a particular answer right, and the other option is no, you didn't you got it wrong, you missed a question. Now there's no negative marking. Let me tell you that there's no negative marking, but you need to be smart and you need to be accurate. One of the skill that is tested in this exam is accuracy. So you should be able to be accurate with the option. And they want to know if you know it. They don't want the guesswork. Now look at this one. Select the sentence that distinguishes two ways of integrating rocks and classical music. Now you get that from the passage too. Now let's go to the answers. Now this is an explanation for the answer. I don't want to go deep into it. I have a lot of stuff to tell you. Question one. The correct answer here, let me check, is E. Address one value. So choice E is okay. No, no, no. Okay, yeah. So the correct answer is E. It said none of the choice A through D is correct. So the correct answer here is choice E. If you read the passage, you see that the answer is choice E. So all these things, it's easy to talk about it, but the work here you need to practice by answering questions. Reading passages, answer questions. That's the only way you can build yourself. Now, the second question. To answer this question, it is important to assess each answer choices independently, since the passage says a Igarashi revived the use of popular music. Now, let me just say, okay, they said the answer choice A is clearly correct. I told you. And on the other hand, the passage also denies that. Okay. Now, so let me just come to the conclusion. Finally, option C2 is correct. So A and C is correct. That's the one they told you to pick all that applies. Select all that applies. That means option A is correct. Option C is correct. So you have to put the two A C. That's your answer. Now look at it. B is wrong. See. So the correct answer is choice A and choice C. So B is wrong. So if you choose B, either you are taking A B, you miss the answer. If you are taking B C, you miss. But except you take A C, that's when you have the full. There's no partial mark. There's no half mark. It's either you get it or you lose it. So now this is the last one. Last one. So but the correct answer is the last sentence of the passage. Now that's all about reading passage. Now I've actually explained to you a likely question that can come out. The way their question is being set and how to answer and handle it. I've done that. So it's now left for you to go and practice more questions. Don't worry, I'll be giving a lot of questions to solve, but I'm trying to open your eyes to what we are going to be doing. Yeah, so I think this should help. Now let me go to the second part because I told you the reading comprehension is the first part of vocabulary reason, verbal reason rather. So the second part is test completion questions. Now this is description and all that. You should you should you'll be able to go through all these things yourself. But let me just passage composed of 5 sentences. 1 to 3 blanks. Just try to read through all this. Now, these are guidelines to tips for answering. You can read through it. Very important. Now, let's go straight to the question. Now, look at always read the instruction before you start the question. It's very important. Now, look at the instruction. For each blank, select one entry for the corresponding column of choices. Fill all blanks in the way that best complete the text. Now, these are the blanks. One, two, three. So they have different options for the blanks. Blank A, they have A, B, C. Blank the second blank they have D, E, F, and the third one they have G, H, I. No, so this blank A, these are the options that is likely to be correct. That can give the correct answer. Any of these will give the correct answer. Then likewise the other boxes. Now look at this. Do you know we have about three blanks here now? So now look at the question. It is refreshing to read a book about our planet by an author who does not allow fact to be dashed by politics. Now, let me tell you how to answer this type of question when it comes to filling the gap or completing the sentence. Now, forget about this, but don't even look at them. Now, just look at the question alone. Yeah, read through it and try to, fill this gap from your by yourself. Look for words that you feel that will work here. Now, it is refreshing to read a book about our planet by an author who does not allow facts to be what to to be dashed by politics. Now, wait, don't know them. Well aware of the political dispute among the effect of human activities on climate and biodiversity. Now, from here, I can infer that something like cover or secret will be the good word for here. No, look at it. It refers to read a book about our planet by an author who does not allow fact to be covered by politics or something that that will make sure that will more like overshadow is the correct answer really. Look at it, overshadow. But then you're looking for something that's like the synonyms of what will work here. So by the time you have your okay, let me just say cover or deluded. Okay, let me just deluded. Okay, who do not allow facts to be deluded by politics. Now it's not allowing the facts to be covered up by politics. Now look up. If I now think about okay, now look at the option. I have something like delusion or covered. I want to look for something that is related to covered or deluded here. Overshadowed. That's the right answer here. So invalidated, no, is wrong. You can't use that context here. Illuminated, no. Illuminated is more like the opposite of the right answer, which is overshadow. So A will be at the answer. Then you can do that for the remaining part of the sentence. Another thing I want to warn you is that if you can't get the answer to the first blank, you can go through, leave the first blank and try to read through other blanks so that probably they can help you to, establish, so I can you probably can get the second one easily and it will be the third one so that at least by the time you get this second and third one, by the time you read the sentence together, you will have a better understanding of what should be the first blank and it goes on and on and on like that. If one of your blanks give you trouble, go over it and go to that one. Don't get stuck. That's my point. Now, the other one is saying, okay, to be overshadowed by politics, well aware. Now, be when you are doing this kind of work, be careful. Look at this column. Column normally is give explanation of the previous sentence. No, so when you read through all these things, you help. You know, help. This line is very important. Well aware of the political dispute about the effect of human activities on climate and biodiversity. Now look at so just another word that can work for here, obscure here is another answer. Okay, now okay, this author does not permit them to dash his comprehensive description of what does not allow it to affect its comprehension, does not allow it to affect it or distract him or not making him to see clearly, something like that. Okay, and in obscure is the best answer here. When you put it here, you understand. Well, now, can you see the reason why I said you should be reading vocabularies now? Because it's not every vocabulary that you will know, but at least by the time you have a lot of experience with vocabularies, you know the direct interpretation of of those vocabulary so that it will help you here. This is where you need your vocabulary. So if you train yourself very well, it will help you here. That's why I told you to be reading your vocabulary. So here. So now, if you realize the enormous gap in knowledge is partly of our observation and the dash calling attention to the many aspects of planetary evolution that must be better understood before we can accurately diagnose the condition of our planet. Now, here the answer is superficiality of our theories. That's the answer. It's not possibility of our hypothesis, certainty of our entity. No, just take your time, think about it. I don't expect you to to be good at it at once. No, I expect it for you to practice more questions so that you can get better results. You increase day by day. You try to train yourself day by day. But the most important thing you need to note here is this: understand that the missing word is valuable, in this space. By the time you put those words there, it must fit, the context of the sentence. What they're talking about, it must fit in. And I told you that before you start even go to the option, try and put some words here yourself, based on your understanding. Just put it there. Sometimes it might be the same word that you put it that will be in the option. At times it might not be, but it might be something close or maybe synonymous to it, synonyms to it. So they also look for words um like and, like but, all these contradictory words, whereby the first part of the sentence can negate in the other part. So all those things are very, very important. Just check through it. You see a lot. See, all those things very important. Complementary, whereby two sentences are supporting each other. Okay, let's say this first sentence now is supporting the second one, and the third one too, something like that. Now, in some cases, the first sentence can be negating this one. So that means what the idea you be having here will be negating this one. So the context too will change. So if you're having a supporting statement here, probably there's something like however or but is part of is in between the sentence. That's, that means it's going to affect the meaning of this one. Maybe it should be like the direct opposite of what is A. You understand? So and like that. Now let's go on. Similarly here. Similarly, vain and prone to violence. That's comma. Vain and prone is a statement. Understand? What you now think what is vain and prone to violence? Now this guy could not handle success. This guy is prone to violence and he cannot handle success. Now the more his dash as an artist increased, the more dash his life become. Now he said he could not handle success. That's a very pointer. It's a pointer now. Okay now. They now said the more is eminence, that should be the answer. Look for something that is synonymous without putting, without looking at it, look at something that can, fill in this gap without. So the answer is eminence as an artist. The more dash his life becomes. So if you have deep understanding of this, in fact, if you don't know the meaning of these words, it will affect you because even if you have an idea of what's supposed to be in the box, and you don't have something, you don't know this one, that's why it's good for you to read and learn your vocabulary very well. So you might even miss it, but yeah, the answer is option D. Look at it. The correct answer is eminence, C, and Timon. Now I told you, you can't get one and lose the other. If you get this for the first blank, you get it. If you are missing for this one, you have missed the whole question. Or you get this one, you get the second blank, you are missing the first blank. You are going to miss the whole mark. So there's no partial mark. Accuracy is very important. Even the same thing as this one. So you're having three options and you're getting two out of three. You miss it. You miss the whole question. Or you are getting, but until you get the whole three, and that's when you have your full mark. So even if you get one out of it, you miss it. So you need the accuracy. So here, these are two blanks. This is three, and there's one that is just one. Just do through it. So in part of Attic, the land into so that you can walk off the coast and not know you up over the hidden sea. No, the answer is imperceptibly. Perceptibly. That's the answer here. So this one is just one blank. So this should be more simpler. It should be simpler compared to all these two and three. So for this one, if you have your answer here, you did it. Now, that's that about question, text completion questions. That's the second part of the barbarism. I told you the reading comprehension, the text completion question. Then the last part, which is the sentence equivalent question. Now, consists of single sentence, one blank, six answer choices. Now, the difference between this one and the one I just finished talking about, yes, there are some cases that one answer is not just like I showed you in the reading comprehension. One answer sometimes there may be more than one answer in an option. For example, I told you always read the instruction they are giving you at the top of of every question set. Now look at this one. They just select the two answer choices that, when used to complete the sentence, fit the meaning of the sentence as a whole and produce complete third sentence that are alike in meaning. Now that means this one, there are two options here that fit into this. But although it does not contain some pioneer ideas, that's the question. Although it does not contain some pioneering ideas, that means um although that person, what he said is not outdated, it's not old fashioned, one would hardly characterize the work as what? As what? So you have to look through all these things. Although signals a contrast here, that means they're saying that does not contain some. So those, but okay, does not contain an old idea or pioneering ideas. One would hardly characterize the work as new stuff. Anything that is against this, opposite to pioneering, should be here. Because it said, although I've already shown that this part is contrast to the second one. So no, this is the first sentence, comma, this is the second sentence here. So this one should be opposite of binary. Why? Because of this although already showing it. If there is but here too, it shows that the what you're talking about, the main thing you're talking about here, is also no, like the opposite of the second sentence, which is here. No, as a pioneering ideas. So what should be here should be what? Something innovative, new. You get? New should be one of. So we are looking for something new here. If, for example, instead of although, if the pointer, I used to call them pointer, is something that, the first sentence is, supporting the second sentence. They are not contrasting each other like this case. Maybe they be separated by hand. And you should also learn to understand sentence structure. Very important. And this is the first sentence. This is the supporting sentence. Although you cannot sign it, see, although it does not contain some parallel ideas, it's not a full sentence. But this one is, one would hardly characterize his work as that. As in, go and read about sentence and type of sentences, supporting clauses, independent clauses. Very important. Those things you need them here. So now let's look to the answer. I said something like innovative or something. Now look at it. Innovative is part of it. Something new. See, the correct answer is original. Now, one would hardly characterize his work as original, like real or innovative. So those are the two options that are correct. Everywhere that Octodus is still, I think, old, eccentric, traffic, all those things conventional to use like old. So it's more like the same thing as final, but we are looking for the opposite. So original and innovative. So you need to be very careful. You need to be very, very careful. See, although it's a critical signpost here, the work contains some pioneering ideas, but apparently it is not overall a pioneering work. Thus, the two words that could fill the gap is original and new. So now another thing I also tell you, getting one is not enough. If you choose innovative alone and you didn't choose original, you will miss it. If you choose F, which is innovation, and you choose A, which is authors, you missed. You are missed. You missed this. That's why this exam is very, very technical. You get. So you need to know. You need to get the two options right, F and C. That's when you have a full mark. So there's no partial mark anyway. Same as this. Same as this. No. See, it was our view that the country's problem had been dashed by foreign technocrats. It was our view that what happened had been dashed by foreign. What happened to, okay? It has our view that the country problem has been dashed. I don't know. It could be anything. So I don't know yet, except I read through to get the full gist, so that to ask for such assistance again would be counterproductive. Now, when they say that to ask that person for assistance will be that means this is the key or the counterproductive. That means anything that person has ever done has not been productive or to be negating the progress of the whole thing. So it was argued that the country's problem had been dashed by foreign technocrats. That means if you look at it, exacerbated here means that it has been worsened, has been worsened by foreign tech, which is a lie. It's a lie. So every other person believe that okay, the foreign technocrat has actually developed, has helped the country. But she said that the view that the country that they are the one that the problem. So I read that it has been exacerbated by like this the country has been worse, or further damage by and which is a lie. So that okay, so other people don't believe that, so they believe that okay, she's a she's counterproductive, she's working against the productivity. Also, they don't even want to ask her anything. So that's the meaning of that. So now look at it, like exacerbated, like worsen. And of course, worsen too is there. It's a worsen too. So the meaning of it is worse than before, as getting worse. And worse is a so these are the two answers. If you chose any other option except these two, you are wrong. If you have one correct, the other two must be correct. If it's wrong, then miss the point for this one. There's no negative marking really, but you can miss a lot of questions by just choosing the second wrong answer. So when you are here, very, very careful, open your eyes. So that's all about that. Now I want you to do this barbarism practice test, this particular one. So do it. Let's see your performance. So mark it. So this one, just do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Okay. Settle the conversion. Easy. These are the answers. Like three questions. Question. I think it says four of the part. No. Okay. Do it. That's the key. So you do the answer. When you do it, you just mark it yourself. I'll ask for your grade. So set 6 is the last one. You just do everything from set 1 to set 6. And let's see your performance. That's the reason why I said you should read your verbal reasoning. Your vocabulary rather. Very important. So that's all for today. Thank you for your time. I hope my audio was okay today. I just bought a new headset because of you. So please just retreat. I mean, even for you before you even start answering those questions. I mean, here this verbal can read the verbal reasoning section. Okay, very well. Understand it everything first before you start. So at least you have an idea on what to do. Thank you very much. Bye.